Good morning, everyone. My name is Cole Finley. I am the marketing manager for Explore Lincoln City. Welcome to this webinar on Wheel the World in Lincoln City. We're so excited to welcome our guest, Camilo Navarro, the COO of Wheel the World, as well as Lori Arcetoris, the executive director of the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce. Also on our call is Stephanie Hull, our events and program manager or coordinator for Explore Lincoln City. We've been partnering for Wheel the World for coming on 2 years now, I think. This partnership predates my presence here in Lincoln City, but they've been an amazing partner, and we're just so happy to be working with them. And I'll take it back to the beginning a little bit. So with the support of a $20,000 grant from Travel Oregon, Explore Lincoln City in collaboration with the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce, hello, Lori, thank you, partnered with Wheel the World. This service is designed to deliver detailed information about accessible lodging, dining, and activities with specialized customer support throughout the entire visitor experience, making sure the needs of the traveler are fulfilled before, during, and after every trip. Camilo, if you could expand on that and share, a little bit more information about what you do and what Wheel the World is doing for destinations and individuals traveling with the needs for accessibilities.
Yes, of course. And maybe the best way to do that is by telling you a little bit about what we did in your destination, why this is so important, and why we think that becoming accessible, it is inevitable, will happen no matter what. There's a very simple explanation for that to happen, which is disabilities is the largest minority on earth that sooner or later every one of us will be part of as a consequence of aging. So when you look through that perspective, becoming accessible, it's inevitable, will happen no matter what. Those who take action first, like you all, are not only doing the right thing, but also doing the smart thing, because there is a business opportunity around it. And not only we want to do good things for society, but also things that are sustainable in the future. So being that said, the first thing that I can say is thanks for the invitation. I'm very happy and excited to be here. And also I would love to make this very, let's make it as a conversation where you can ask, like some of the audience here might have some questions, but I'm gonna just go through a quick overlook of what we did, how it works, what are part of the aspect of the solution. So first, one of the things that I can say is that you are part of a bigger family. We have around 80 cities in the US who are part of Destination Verified. And what Destination Verified is a seal of approval that helps destinations to become more accessible. And we help them to become more accessible by doing 5 things. One is we raise accessibility information and we provide assessment for them to know how to improve. Second, we provide them with a booking solution. So now people from outside of your city, but also in your destination, the local community can easily find the information and use it. 3, we provide with online trainings on how to become more accessible, how to become more educated when it comes to understanding people with accessibility needs and seniors. 4, we create communication and awareness to this audience for you to be able to say, well, we are verified, come here, there's the resources for you to know. And finally, to give you monitoring on the progress on the project. So we do this by tapping into all type of disabilities, mobility related, sensorial, auditive, and visual, and finally cognitive as well. In a nutshell, what our solution consists is in 4 different aspects where you have access to all of them. Number 1 is a destination accessibility website, which I'm going to go through in detail in a second. Number 2 is a partners portal that you will have access very soon. Call I told you that we are about to give you access to our portal that you are gonna love, hopefully, and where you're gonna have all the information. But also each one of the local partners that were part of this initiative and this verification seal will also have access. 3, trainings, the academy, and 4, the partners care system, which is, we're very excited to announce that now each one of your local partners will most likely start receiving uh, connections and contact from our team, who is going to be essentially helping you out individually with your assessment, with the trainings, etc. So let's go step by step. What we did is we created an accessibility website. This is an example, and I really like better to show your accessibility website. So this is your accessibility website, where we are displaying the information from the hotels, the activities, and the restaurants. Here are some of the properties that we have, some of the main information, the top accessibility activities, how to transport, the restaurants, some tips when traveling, a very comprehensive guide for people with accessibility needs who might want to go to your destination. All these platform is constantly being updated by us. Our team take care of updating all the content. So for example, when you click on the properties here, some of the hotels that we are displaying here, so if you click them, we are displaying very specific accessibility information. This accessibility information is critical for users to understand whether or not they can go to this property. The cool thing about this is that we don't judge accessibility. We are not here to tell if you're right or wrong. What we're here is to display the right information for the right type of user. Because how our platform works is that each one of the users, they create an accessibility profile and they tell us what are their specific accessibility needs. And with this information, we reduce all the friction when it comes to knowing if that person can go or not to your specific property. So this way, we avoid people having bad experiences and we avoid lawsuits, we avoid complaints. Does it make sense? So in a nutshell, what we're doing here is providing the information so people on our system can recommend whether or not they can go there. So we tell them specifically where the problem is going to be. For example, in this case, the bed height or the lack of a rolling shower. Not only that, I go back to my presentation, not only we provide the accessibility website, but also each one of you, hopefully, I see that there's 8 people connected, I think. Well, each one of you very soon, the ones that were part of this program, will have access to an individual and private centralized platform. And I'm going to show you how this works, okay? So this is just an example. Lincoln City one is not ready yet, but will be very soon be ready. But you're gonna just, it's gonna be with your logo, with your information. And here, this is, I wanna be very clear. This information is only for Lincoln City to access and the individual partners. It's not public information. That's why you're gonna have your own credentials to enter here. So the way that this works is that you're gonna have access to all the listings inside our website with all the well done, the improvements and the attention that we flagged on the assessment. So the assessment, for example, in this case, the museum, here is going to have the entire recommendation on where and why you should improve the accessibility. Again, Lincoln City will have access to this information, but also the local partners too, private information. So here, for example, you will like to know, well, what is the immediate attention needed? And you're going to have access to the most important part that you need to take care of. Okay. Again, each one of you will receive access to this, also to the listing in the website. Not only that, you, as we were sharing before, you will also have access to the training modules here. So I hope that once I give access to Cole will make sure that everyone in Lincoln City will go through the trainings, and you're gonna invite them here, each one of the people, for them to get access to this training. These trainings are very simple, very easy, uh, and very complete lessons, general lesson on what is inclusive service, offering assistance for guests with disabilities, physical disabilities, visual disability, and it only takes an hour to complete them all. So also you're going to have access to specific lessons. Again, Cole and the Lincoln City team will be able to invite everyone, but not only that, each one of the partners that they were part of this program will also have access to their individual, assessment, and also the individual trainings. Okay. So finally, what we are also going to be doing is our team will start reaching out to each one of the individual partners that they were part of the Lincoln City initial batch of partners. So what I refer is that, for example, the activities that are here, we're going to reach out, we're going to introduce them the partners portal, they're going to have access to their assessment, they're going to have access to their trainings, we're going to push them gently for them to become more accessible. The same thing we will do with the restaurants and the hotels. So then that's part of what we call partner care. Essentially, our team will reach out and promote accessibility among your partners. So this way, our company will be an ongoing force of your destination to become more accessible. We're also here to answer questions. So our team will help you out in terms of, you have a doubt on the assessment, or you want to update some information that then wants to be updated on the website, we can definitely do that. That's a little bit about what we are doing here. Just to wrap up, this is how we help destinations to become more accessible. We are organizing the accessibility information in your destination. We're providing a simple booking solution. We're giving you access to trainings. We are unlocking an emerging market, and we're giving you all the insights and data for you to understand how your destination is progressing. I think that that's a little bit about what we've done. Happy to answer question, comments. Well, our team has been working very hard on this for the last month. We're really taking a step further on the initial solution. One of the things that I also wanted to mention here is thank you, because Lincoln City was one of our first clients. And this solution, this whole program that we created is essentially the result of listening to every one of your feedback, every one of the problems that you were like encountering as you move forward. We took 80, voices from 80 different cities here in the States, and we learned and we created this as a way to really make the world accessible. Our dream is that we can allow millions of users with accessibility needs and seniors to travel to thousands of destinations the easiest way possible. So thanks for being part of this. Without you, it would be impossible.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. And Camilo, I thank you so much. What's great is that, this partnership has been able to, not only highlight the accessible activities and partners that we have within Lincoln City, but it's also been able to, help us take the consideration of, okay, how can we become even more accessible as a destination? And when speaking about, all of our listed partners for Destination Verified, we can point out that, Lincoln City is partnered with nearly a dozen hotels in Lincoln City. We've identified 35 verified activities, and we have listed 16 restaurants that have guaranteed accessibility features, which is great. But at the same time, it kind of leads me to my next point, and you kind of discussed this a little bit earlier, uh, but this is what we have so far, and this is what we've been able to identify. But there's potential for opportunities for additional assessments as well. But for those who are already listed, I think we wanted to discuss the importance, and you briefly covered this, but identifying the efforts that can still be improved by the partners that are already listed. So that's something I wanted to make
Yes,
sure we covered today,
of
because
course.
a business can be destination verified, but at the same time, there's probably a lot more that can be
Needs to be
done at
done.
the destination to be as accessible as possible.
Of
And
course.
I think the subject came up at the conference that we were at, the Travelability conference, where you know uh, a little bit uh, of work that can be put into can go a long ways, but no one should ever stop there, because um, there's always way more that an organization can do to be as accessible as possible. That said,
Absolutely.
it's almost nearly impossible to be 100% accessible, because but I think the message that was conveyed, but that's okay as long as we continue to try to make efforts.
Exactly. Exactly. And if I can just rephrase what you just said, is like accessibility is not a destination, it's a journey, right? Like
Yeah.
essentially, you will always have something more to do. And but I think that there's two components, and I guess that this is how can I can address a little bit about the specific question that you mentioned, like what are the things that the partners that they were part of this they can do. The good news is that we have a solution for that. We have one of our team members, probably you met him, Sagar, who is based in New York. He will be in touch with each one of the individual partners because we will onboard them into their own specific platform so they can see their own specific assessment. We're going to go step by step, explaining them this is what you need to do and this is why you need to do it. Also explaining them how they can add more people to the trainings. So that's one way that we can help those current partners that are part of the solution to become more accessible. I always like to say that there's two kind of important elements on why becoming more accessible it's important and taking action on the assessments it's important. One, I already mentioned it. So the reality is that there's a business opportunity. Also, is the right thing to do. Sooner or later, everyone will have accessibility needs. But there's a second part, which is accessible design. It's superior, period. Full stop. You know, no one will complain about a ramp. There's no human that can complain about a ramp. The ramp is useful for a senior, for a wheelchair user, for a skateboarder, for a bicycle, for a stroller. Who is going to complain about the ramp? Who is going to complain about the automatic push door? No one. When you design things for the most extreme cases, those solutions extrapolate to everyone. So in that sense, becoming accessible, is a very smart approach to almost anything. So that's the second element that I always like to promote. If you have accessibility, I mean, who is going to complain about a rolling shower in your hotel? I don't have a disability. I love like rolling showers. They have so much space, it's so simple. Uh, I mean, that's the point. I and our team will, for those who are part of Destination Verify, we will just our team member, our operation team will explain you. This is what we flag. This is why you should improve. And the cool thing about this is that, Cole, I think I mentioned this last time that we were together. We will never end the process of improving our solution. We will keep adding more elements to it. We are, for example, thinking with our tech team to add what is the cost estimation of improving that little aspect that we are flagging. You know, like we estimate that the cost would, so then the partner, they will know, well, if I want to put the ramp, maybe this will cost X amount of money. And then and you can prioritize according your own budget, your own pace. We're not here to enforce that you make all the changes. We are kindly suggesting and trying to convince you that becoming accessible and accessible design is just better.
So
Oh,
I guess,
Cole,
yeah, Stephanie,
I'll
you have
just jump in here now too.
go
Some
ahead.
of the things are just really simple that you can do too. You know, like one of the
Absolutely.
examples at a conference I was at, you know, if you've got a trash can in front of your elevator, the button that you push to, you know, get on the elevator, somebody in a wheelchair can't reach that. So, you know,
Yes.
or maybe it's just a cleaner threshold over your doors, or, you know, sometimes it's not the big things that need cost a lot of money. It's just little things. If you're a restaurant, if you turn your table so your legs, you know, or so somebody in a wheelchair could get all the way up to a table. So, you know, it's just looking around and seeing what little things can be done right now too.
I think that's a
Lori,
great,
I love that. That's gold because, and every time that that's why I love being with our clients, because that's a great idea. At the end, what we want to do and facilitate is maybe we should create a filter, you know, in the assessment. What are like the non-costly, you know, improvements that you can make? And then you just know there are like very simple, like inexpensive things that you can do. Great idea. I'm taking notes on that. Yeah, love it. Stephanie, you
and
had your
I have a quick
hand
comment
raised.
before. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
have a quick comment before Stephanie goes. In connection to what Lori had to say, you know, especially with our hoteliers that are on the call with us or watching, while there may be accessible rooms and your space might be accessible, you know, there might be a situation where a guest might show up and, you know, they're looking through the room and like the adjustable shower head might be too high for them to reach once they're able to get into the shower, but it might be too high for them to reach. So one example that came up last week at the accessibility conference that we're at, the travelability conference, was that, you know, if an attendant at the hotel goes to the room with said guest and is able to do a walkthrough with the room, no matter what accessibility needs that guest has, and then be able to, you know, make sure everything is okay with the room for them before they start their stay. So I
Yes.
think that's a great example as well. Stephanie, you can go
Yes.
now.
Oh, thanks, guys. No, I just had a quick question, but it was more along the lines of a different line of thought. Camille, you had mentioned that partners will have the opportunity to connect to the portal and that your coworker is going to be reaching out. I was curious what the timeline is for both of those pieces for everybody to know.
Okay, you're putting me on the spot here. But I have the answer. Wait me 1 second. If you wait
No
me one
problem.
second, I have my entire team migrating all the systems into this new portal. It has been a lot of chaos in a good
Even
way.
just a rough estimate so people know when roughly to
No,
look forward
I
to.
really wanna answer that. Wait me 1 second. I have this. Most of the partners portal, I think we should be done by December. Okay, there's some of the portals. Okay, I'm gonna be real here. My system shows that you're at 20% progress. I'm gonna speed things up. Okay, it's 20%. Yeah, it shows 20%. But they told me that by the end of the December, I mean, the goal is that we should migrate 100%. Remember that the assessment before they were on a PDF, right? So what we are doing, we're migrating everything to this system that I was showing you before. So probably by the end of the year, you should be done. The good news is that you're not in zero, which means that my team is working on that one because I have many that are in zero, which means that we haven't started yet. So yes, I'm going to speed things up because again, I really want you to have access to this system as soon as possible.
We have someone with their hand up. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop that in the Q&A chat section,
Yeah,
and
it
then
looks
we
like
can get
Michelle
your
has a
question.
question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Michelle, if you have a question, go ahead and drop that in the Q&A, and then we can get that answered. For the moment, we're going to move on to the next topic of discussion. So I'd love to talk about the growing segment of travelers with disabilities visiting accessible destinations. And most of the time, they're usually traveling with a companion, or they're not traveling alone. They might be traveling in a group. Camilo, are you able to go into further
Absolutely.
detail on this? Yeah.
Absolutely. So just to give you a rough estimate, here in the States, around 14.5 million Americans have taken more than 40 million trips every single year. Okay, 40 million trips. Out of those 40 million trips, around 50, I would say 60% are happening like domestically, and then the rest is overseas. So in other words, there's a huge, potential of people like visiting at some point your destination. Also the local community, right? Meaning never forget about the local community that wants to visit to go to one of these restaurants, and now because they have more information, they can do. Normally, in our case, what we see is that for every booking that we have 3 more people booking. Two more people, so a total of 3 in each one of the bookings. One of them have disabilities and 2 of them does not have a disability. So again, becoming accessible not only unlocks the possibility of someone with disability visiting you, someone without a disability that goes with someone with disabilities going to visit you. Does it make sense? I wouldn't go to have lunch with my grandfather, like to your restaurant, if it is not accessible, because my grandfather has a disability right now, and he's a wheelchair user, and I cannot visit your restaurant if it is not wheelchair accessible.
When it comes to booking the trip, would you say how are you able to tell, okay, is it like the companion or a planner who's usually planning this trip, or is it usually that individual?
Normally, and the way that I can share this, I'm going to share very quickly my screen. So what happens here is that when they go to willtheworld.com, so the people who are creating their profiles, they are telling us, number one, what type of traveler are you? So they tell us, I'm a traveler with accessibility needs, or I'm a traveler with a companion with accessibility needs. So I would, around like 70% are people who have disabilities and 30% are their companions, and they create the profiles, with what are the disabilities that they have: physical, visual, auditory, cognitive, right? And so that's kind of how it works. And then the users are booking directly through the portal.
I'm going to go ahead and unmute Michelle here and see if she can ask a question. So,
Love it. I would rather prefer to hear Michelle's.
yeah, perfect.
Live.
All right, 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, you're on the air.
My name is Michelle Merheeb, and to let you know my background, before I became a business advisor, I am a retired occupational therapist. So I've worked with people with special needs and forever since, the turn of the century. So this is really important to me. This is one of my things of making our town more accessible. So my questions are, one, is there going to be like a identifier on the locations that are accessible, like your logo? Okay, Stephanie's nodding yes, great. And when is the site set to be in full swing? You said by the end of this year, beginning of next?
So that's a great question, and it
Yes.
it depend based off of your location. So as Lincoln City is destination verified, and we have our list of partners, like I spoke about earlier, we are in a position right now to be able to provide those assets to, and that was going to be my next question. So I appreciate the segue, Michelle. We have access to those digital assets. So one example, if you go to explorelincolncity.com, you'll see on our header, or I'm sorry, on our footer on every
Footer.
page of our website, it has the accessibility verified logo design here on our
Love
website,
that sticker.
and
Yeah.
that will take you directly to that'll link you directly to the Wheel the World page, the Lincoln City Wheel the World site, to give you that list of destinations. If you're not from Lincoln City, I guess it all comes down to, and Camila will probably get into this. It comes down to, becoming destination verified, and then getting access to those assets as well. I am holding up the sticker, so some of you who are on the call from Lincoln City maybe have already received one. If you haven't and you're listed as a verified organization or location in Lincoln City, we're happy to provide you one. I know that Lori has been done a great job and shared them with our hotel partners, and Stephanie has been out giving them out to our participating organizations. So, but if you don't have one, we would love to see this on your front window, just to show that this is a accessibility verified location.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
Michelle, it's public facing right now, so anybody
Yeah.
that is wanting to come to Lincoln City and find out that information, it's already live. We're just talking about the back end for partners. So if someone is looking to stay here, it's up and ready already.
Love how Stephanie, the back end part of it. That's exactly what we are like working on. So essentially, the user interfacing part is live, is ready. People, they can access to the platform. They can see everything that has been verified. They can check the accessibility information. Now we are about to finish giving you access to the back end part of it, which is, a more simple way on accessing the assessments, a more simple way to invite people to get the trainings done, etc. That's what is going to be done by the end of the year.
Perfect.
Yeah, the destination verified logo is also on the front page, the homepage of the chamber site that takes you right to
Yes.
their website as well. And I do have a few more stickers here at the office. So if you don't have one, give me a call. I can drop it off, or you can stop into the chamber anytime and pick it up.
Love that. Thank you so much, Lori. And I know that I've spoken to a few partners that do also have that icon on their website as well. So we're excited that it's something that's growing, and that we're able to continue sharing these assets.
Yeah, I see Zoe and Parker.
Yeah, I just wanted to connect you to one of my clients who does accessibility training. She's a consultant. She has lived experience herself here in Lincoln County. And there could be some really great overlap, and also her ability to help get the word out. So I'd love to connect you.
Love it.
I'd love to connect you.
Yes. And I can leave my email.
Perfect.
Someone wants to reach out.
Thank you,
Thank
Kellyanne.
And then Zoe.
Great, thank you. My name's Zoe Momber. I'm actually from the city of Wilsonville, and I'm super excited about your program. I've dug around the Wheel the World website, and I'm just curious to know the timeline for how you got your project going, how you got to this point with all this fantastic information, and if you had any pushback from the partners, and how you overcame that if you did.
Yes. So I think that there's two parts of this question. Like, one is like the timeline. For example, if you are part of a new destination and that would like to get involved with this program, our timeline has been shrinking every time more in terms of how fast we go. I know with Lori, we took a lot of time because again, was one of the first clients. We were kind of, putting every piece together. We took more time. That's on our fault, but we improved. That's our spirit here at the company. Now we're taking around 3 months to complete every project. And in every project, we take maybe, 30, 40, 50 different sites that we will be inspecting. It's our team who will be in charge of getting inside those properties. We have mappers, that they go visit and gather the information, and that way we can just provide all the solution. So in that sense, it is very frictionless for both the city and the local partners, and that's how can I answer the second part of the question. Yes, we did encounter some friction at the with some of the partners because there was a misunderstanding, or maybe the way that we were communicating our solution, it was almost like Will the World was some form of inspector that was going to get inside your building, very mad if you don't pass, the test, and then we're gonna sue you. That's not what we do, right? And there was a misconception of that. But once they saw, that's how we overcame the whole friction in that sense. Once the partners saw the solution live, and they see how the listings look like, which is not in a way that, red, if you're not too accessible, it's more about providing the right information for the users. Now there was no friction. The partners, I would say 99% of them, they just love what we do because they don't need to do anything really. They just open the doors, we come and visit, we get the information, we give them access to the portals, and then that's it. So now we don't have any, and also it helps that Will the World, hopefully, Cole, you were part of the travelability. You saw how many clients were there of us. And I hope I wasn't there, so I don't know if they talk well or not about us.
I have to say, Wheel the World was the star of travelability.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. But yes, so in that sense, we are, every time our brand awareness is increasing, so that also facilitate, we go to every single destination, they have heard about Wheel the World. So it's easier for that partner, for that restaurant, for that hotel to say, of course, I want to become part of this.
Thank you.
And thank you, Zoe. Appreciate your question.
So if you want to get in touch with me, more than happy. You have my email.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here quickly too. When I became passionate, we get a lot of calls here at the Chamber for all kinds of reasons, but we got quite a few about accessibility because people try to plan their trips, so they need to know, where they can go, like Camilo has said. And, like we always talk about, the disabilities are varied greatly. So not everybody needs the same thing. And I got a call from a lady that came and stayed at a hotel, and it was accessible, she thought, but the bed was too high for her to reach. So she had to sleep in her wheelchair. So she was calling to see the heights of the beds, which, I don't know, but that's the kind of thing that Wheel the World does. They get in and they measure the doorways, they measure the beds, they check the showers. So when you go onto their site, you know that you can travel to one of the sites that is verified for what your needs are. So yeah, that's the great thing about this.
Thanks for sharing that, Lori. That's amazing. That's exactly what we want to achieve here. That information that for so many people is like, why that information is so important? It's so important.
Yeah, I was at one in Florida at an accessibility conference, and one of the segments was called shower shaming. And they pointed out all the little things that, somebody in a wheelchair, if the soap is too high, or like Cole mentioned, if the shower head can't be reached, or, just little things that make all of the difference for somebody that has that disability and needs, that option.
Yeah. One of the things about the bed height. So I'm kind of tall. I'm a tall guy, and that I have a small hernia on my back, and sometimes it just clicks, and then I cannot stand up straight, and it's super hard for me to even sit. And And I remember I went to an Airbnb and I was like, now I'm leaving the problem of the bed height being too low, and I couldn't stand up from the bed, and I was like, if I had like the right bed height, I could use like I could have such a better experience, right? And then I wonder, I see like how many seniors are having the same issue, right? That they don't travel as much as they would like to because they don't have that specific bed height that for them, I see my grandfather every time that he gets in the bed, if it is too low, like we need to all like drag him all the way up. Otherwise, he won't be able to stand up.
So I'm just curious from anybody on the call, are you hearing things about Will the World? Have you had customers ask, or are there any questions out there that we can answer?
There was one question that we had from someone who registered. Unfortunately, I don't think she is with us today, but it's from Brandy, and Brandy wants to know, does Wheel the World offer resources of consultations for businesses in the planning stages?
The short answer is, I mean, yes, partially, because when it comes to something new, what we do is we can share like an ideal standard of accessibility that maybe you can follow. That's, for example, we have that for hotels. We have like an ideal example hotel that I can share. But mostly our solution is designed for current businesses that already exist, that they can access to they can access to kind of how they can improve.
Yeah. Okay.
And yes. And I'm trying to, so in terms of the traction, that's also another feature that I share with you called, and maybe Lori, or Stephanie, I think it was with you. So we're building the analytics, inside that portal that you all gonna have, and you're gonna have access to the live data of, how many people are looking at, your website, your blog content, the impressions in time, also the bookings and the economic impact of that. And that's something that we are currently working on. I think, I'm trying to see if I can get like an estimate on that, but you'll need to wait me for a second, or maybe I can share this afterwards, but because
okay.
I don't, yeah.
I think that's something that's good for afterwards, but
Yes.
we appreciate the question from Brandy anyway.
Yes.
Was there any other questions or comments from anyone? I think almost everyone has chimed in. If not, I think this has been really wonderful. Camilo, we really appreciate your time, and Lori
Of course.
as well. Lori, was there anything else that you hope to add?
I don't think so. Just a reminder, if you need a sticker, because that will definitely bring light to what the program is, or might lead to some questions. So be sure and let me know at the chamber, or Stephanie has some stickers that she can get. But yeah, we could definitely get those to you, or steer people to the chamber side or Explore Lincoln City side if they have more questions or need the information.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you for being here.
And I will say, sorry, go ahead,
sorry?
Camilo.
No, I managed, but I need to double check. But I think that in the last 6 months, we have like, this is only information that we can track. So there were like 14 people traveling there. There's approximately like a 10,000 booking that we can track on our system, right? Because we know that there's people that they look at the website and maybe they just go directly. They don't book through us, which is fine, because again, ultimately what we want to achieve is, people with disabilities and seniors to travel more. But yeah, that's something that I can share for now. I'm going to have more information as we go, okay?
Yeah, and if we're happy to to share this information with anyone who's interested. If we have additional resources, we can share them with everyone who has signed up for today's webinar.
Yeah.
And that said, I can say, so I mentioned how Explore Lincoln City, just like Lori also mentioned with the Chamber's website, we do have our destination verified listed on every page, on the footer of every page, but we also have this information available on our industry page, so explorelincolncity.com/industry, as well as our accessibility page, explorelincolncity.com/accessibility. Also, it's also found on our page. So if you go to our front page and our main drop down, it's our Explore with Care page. I'm sorry, Explore Without Limits page. So yeah, we put out lots of information on accessibility in Lincoln City. Also, if anyone is interested, they can sign up for our industry newsletter. We also send out lots of updates on accessibility, Wheel the World, things like that, bi-monthly. So sign up for that, and that sign up can be found on our industry page as well. So, well, we appreciate everyone's time, and we thank you all for dropping by and attending our webinar today. Camilo, thanks so much. Lori, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
And Stephanie, thank you as well.